One of the biggest mistakes you can make as a martial artist is to limit yourself in the ways you throw techniques. So today we're going to be talking about thumb up, thumb facing towards you, or thumb down. What are the benefits, what are the negatives of each of these ways of throwing the hook, and why you're limiting yourself if you're only throwing one way. As many of you guys on the channel probably already recognize, I am very open to learning different styles from different people. And we're not just talking about different styles like Aikido, Jiu-Jitsu, Taekwondo, kickboxing, not those sort of styles, just different styles of throwing the same technique. So the hook. For me to go, okay, I'm only gonna throw like this because this is the way my coach taught me and I have no interest in learning any other way, that is very short-sighted. And it's going to hurt you for multiple reasons. Number one, being able to throw a technique in a variety of ways makes you more dangerous. But number two, not understanding that it can be thrown in different ways is going to limit you in terms of defense, because you might not know how to throw the technique yourself, which means you probably don't understand how to block it correctly. Prime example, my dad told me this from years ago. He was in a boxing gym and also doing Taekwondo. He had a match in the ring. Somebody came out and threw a spinning back fist, which he'd never seen before. You don't throw that in boxing. You don't throw it in Taekwondo. He got clipped in the head, knocked down, and there you go. You need to know different techniques so you know how to defend them. So in terms of the hook, many people will say you have to throw with the thumb facing up. Let's talk about the benefits of the thumb facing up, and I will tell you very soon which is my preferred method, and I'll explain why. But for now, we're talking about the thumb facing up. With the thumb facing up, I find, and this is just me, that this is a very neutral position. My hand feels very good here, my wrist feels very solid, and I like the fact that I can play with my distance quite easy. The extension from here is not too difficult. Back here, I can still land very, very hard hooks. And if you aren't throwing your shots like that, you've always thrown them like this, I suggest trying this as well. I really do like the style of throwing the hook, but you could also turn it over. From here, what you're gonna find is it's a little bit easier to land with the two big knuckles, and you can actually find a point behind your opponent's guard sometimes and land with those, and it feels very, very solid. Next up, you'll see some people like Triple G, and he'll actually turn the thumb facing downwards. I find that this one, really you can get a lot of drop on the hook, and then if you need to, you can actually hit people with the back of the knuckles coming very long, and you're going to get a lot of power like this as well. Whereas right now, if I turn over, I'm going to land more with my thumb, which is no good. So you understand, hopefully, being able to transition the hand at different lengths will suit you sometimes. And I've landed knockdowns like this, and I've landed knockdowns like that. The main downside that I notice in turning at certain lengths is the damage which seems to arise in my wrist or my knuckles. The wrist for me is always the big issue. So if I throw like this too many times with my thumb facing towards me, I start to feel that little breakdown in the wrist there, which is maybe a little weaker for me, whereas here, I have no issues. As I start to extend out like this, hitting the pad, I find the knuckles get a little bit sore, but when I'm sparring, if I come and I hit somebody in the head, it's no big deal. Maybe if I hit them repeatedly as hard as I could, then it would start to injure me, but it's just more that repetition on the pads over and over and over. The main point of this episode is not necessarily to teach you just how to throw a hook, but it's to open your mind that there's a number of ways to throw round kicks. There's a number of ways to throw front kicks. And only doing what your instructor tells you is going to be short-sighted. And it's short-sighted of instructors to only teach one way when there are so many different varieties of the same technique. If you already have a coach who's told you, yeah, you can throw your hook like this, or you can turn it like this, or if you want some more length and some drop on it, you can turn the thumb down. If they have explained all that to you, that means that their mind is opened up and they're a very high level coach. I've had people throughout the years, I went somewhere one time for a few weeks and they would not let me throw a hook any other way than palm facing down. If I went like this, they said, no, that's wrong. I left after 2 or 3 weeks and my wrist took about 6 months to recover. And I told the guy, oh, it hurts me. And he's like, no, you got to do it. I'm like, it doesn't work for me. Don't force it. Don't force it on somebody if it's breaking down their body. So for me to say, this is the best, or this is the best, or this is the best, and tell everybody out there, this is the way to do it, that is no good. What you guys need to do is you need to play around on the bag and not only find which one is best for you, but find which one is best for you at certain ranges. Long, I like to come like this, but that it requires folding the wrist a little bit for me. But I can also flip upside down. I'll never go like this on a long hook because like I said, I'll jam the thumb. If I'm coming to kind of a mid-range or somebody's approaching me and I want to kind of come, instead of completely sideways, I want to kind of come on an angle, then I'll go palm facing down, thumb facing towards me. Or I can go thumb up, but I won't really come thumb down on either of these tight distances. And then if I'm going for a really short hook in tight, I definitely go thumb up. For me, this one just feels really solid. It feels like the hardest punch, whereas you see people like Gennady Golovkin, when he hits, it looks like he hits like a truck, like this. But for me, I feel this is 20% less powerful than here. I can't tell you why. It's just my body type. Maybe it's because I've been throwing kind of like 70% of my hooks like this throughout the years. So play around, experiment, see what works for you, and this will make you a better fighter. Definitely better at throwing hooks, no question. So that's all I wanted to touch on with you guys today. Think about this on all your techniques, not just the hooks. There's always changes you can do to other things to improve your ability to throw and land, have more power, more speed. If you enjoyed the episode, please give it a like. If you haven't already, join the channel, get subscribed. As always, train hard, and I will see you back here soon for another episode.